We're going to go ahead and revisit this puzzle dated April 22nd, just a week ago, and one of our viewers asked us to continue to CM, which we have figured out means checkmate, and I'm not sure I can actually do this in 3 minutes, so we're going to put it on a full screen video, and we're going to put it against Stockfish as usual, and I'm not sure I could beat Stockfish from here, but we're going to give it a try. So let's go. Practice versus computer, and off we go into the position. Right, so our knight is in peril and caught behind enemy lines. Let's extract it while the getting is good. Or we can put the question to the bishop. Yeah, I think just retreating the knight should be fine, actually. And of course, we need to maintain the defense of that knight. And when you have a material advantage, your strategy should be to trade off pieces. He probably will not accommodate us, but I'm very interested in simply attacking the bishop with my knight. And as expected, our opponent avoided the trade. We could put the question out there again with bishop to f4, and if he wants to avoid the trade, he has to split his rooks. I don't think I can be hurt by putting this up here, so let's give it a try. And one trade down. Again, we're just basically trying to disarm our opponent. Now we want to get our rook on one of the open files. We could maybe get both rooks on the d file and then push. That seems reasonable. Now, is he giving me this pawn for a reason? Because when we identify the continuation, we realize that king to g2 attacks the knight, and though our knight can safely retreat to g5, it has no safe path of egress from there. So after his pawn comes to f4, our knight would be trapped and lost. For that reason, we will simply retreat the knight. Let's bring it to the center. The favorite place of a knight in the entire universe is on one of these 4 squares. Now again, I want to double my rooks on this file, or perhaps this file. I also want to be mindful of a back rank weakness at some point later. We may want to open a window for our king. The real question is, where's the more hopeful attack? Usually you want your rook behind the pawn that you can move. So it seems like it would make sense to me to at least start by getting one rook on the e file. And this signals that he might be looking to push his pawns. Well, he can't push that one. Well, I'm very interested now in doubling my rooks on the e file. Yeah, he's clamping down here on this square. Let's go ahead and double our rooks anyway on this file. And my idea is, remember I wanted to open a window for my king anyway? Well, now I have the added benefit of supporting the potential undermining of this clamp. So I do think I will go ahead and h6 here. I'm not interested in creating any tension here. If he pushes, I can just push to b6. I'm not sure if I should give this much credence. I am interested in this move. Of course, he doesn't have to take, and if I take, he replaces it with a new pawn. The clamp is still in place, but now he's got an open file to attack me. I don't know if I'm a big fan of that. Perhaps I'll also push the f-man and get another pair of eyes on the e5 square. Gotta be careful because I'm depleting my knight of potential squares. In fact, my knight will not be able to move safely after f6, so I may want to do something else first. Maybe I can actually put the question to this pawn and undermine this clamp from this side. Perhaps. And then that will also give myself a square for my knight. If here and takes and takes. Keep in mind, I don't want to simplify to the point where I just have a knight. Can't win with just a knight. I'm going to go ahead with b6. And now, can I undermine all of this? Boy, I'll give him a 2-1. I'm going to follow through with my plan. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to abandon my plan. Let's defend that pawn. And of course he did that because he doesn't want his backward pawn on an open file to fall under attack. But now I have a completely open D file that I can function on. Okay, interesting. Can I give up that pawn for the sake of simplification? Or not can I can. Should I give up the C pawn to get rid of one pair of rooks? That's the question. I'm going to. And now I can either give check here or threaten here. If I give check, his king is tethered to the G-man, and if he goes to the second, I can win the B-man. That's the move. Check. And now we win the B-man. Now, let's pin the C-man, and then super attack. That seems reasonable. Another option is attack the H-man. That also is a possibility. I'm going to go with rook b3, attacking the king through the c-man with the intention of knight d5. Of course, he can move his king off that line. And he did, yeah. But now, maybe I should have gone after the h-man. I can still super attack the c-pawn. Now, that seems strange. What am I overlooking? Why can't I just take this pawn? I don't see a reason why I can't simply take this pawn against my 3200 rated opponent. Well, thank you for the simplification. Now this should be easy. And I've got an endgame. All I need is one pawn. See if he'll take the pawn. We need to attack that pawn. We do not want to push and let him pass the pawn. We got to check here. If he actually, I could decoy the king to g3 and then give check here. That may be my best bet. I'm losing that pawn anyway. So now my knight can cover. I can kind of shoulder the king out of there. Yeah, push here. Note that once the pawn is no longer on the 5th rank, there's no such thing as en passant for a 6th rank pawn. So we can push to g5, access the pawn, capture the pawn, come back and defend our knight. No sense in giving anything away. And the rest should be easy. We just move everything up together. Knights move away, knights move away, dance with the king, dance with the king, dance with the king, dance with the king, bring our knight into play, give check, force the king into the corner where he will be a goner, and that is checkmate. Oh yeah.